You are getting ready to make a decision. But before you do, have you went to God first? I'm reminded of the story in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 30 when David and his men discovered that they had been attacked by the Amalekites. And they came back into their town and discovered that it had been burnt down, that their children and their wives had been taken into captivity. The word of God says in verse 4 of that chapter that when they found this out, they cried so much that they were exhausted. Then it drops down in verse 6 and says that the same men that were with David became bitter and they thought about stoning him because of what happened. Can you imagine what David was feeling going into his town, seeing that it had been burnt down, his loved ones had been took hostage, and the same men that he had been loyal to is now contemplating on taking his life because of what happened? We can learn from David because in verse 8 it says, David asked the Lord, shall I pursue and overtake? Now it's important to understand that David was a warrior. David was known for being victorious in battle. David could have relied on his skill, but yet and still, David went and sought out that God never make a permanent decision in temporary feelings. So he asked him, shall I pursue? I know what I want to do, but God, is this what you want me to do? He said, shall I pursue? That's number one. Number two, he said, shall I overtake? So he's asking him, not only should I do this, God, but will I be victorious in this? The Bible tells us to lean not to our own understanding, but in all of our ways acknowledge God. Do not make a decision in your feelings. Do not make a decision with a clouded judgment. It's important that you go to God and allow God to speak concerning your situation. It is vital. You making a decision without God's counsel is detrimental. It can literally shift your future. It can literally cause a season of delay. It can literally cause on unnecessary weights and burdens. Ask the Lord, what shall you do? Only the blueprint of God and the stamp of approval from God lead to success, prosperity, and victory.